True story. Yesterday, I went with my family to get coffee. We went to this coffee shop, and right next to it is like this really old house where they sell, a bunch of cute stuff that basically females would get for each other for their birthday, which is exactly why my wife wanted to go, because her best friend's birthday is coming up, and she found the perfect gift. So I'm there as the husband, as the dad. I'm walking around, just basically kind of entertaining my kids as we're walking around, giving my wife time to pick out something for her friend. And keep in mind, I'm in Tennessee, so there's this, especially this rustic Americana feel here in Tennessee, that especially between females as far as identifying all this, So there was all like these southern type of signs, like, those little wooden signs. So I'm going through this old house. I mean, I'm talking like Civil War kind of old house. Had no central area heating. It was like air conditioning's in the window on a hot, June 2020 day. So I wander upstairs to the creaking stairs. I walk into this one room, and it's a bunch of these little wooden signs. And here's what it said. It was like a little dictionary thing, and it said, "Asshole. Someone who continues to ask you questions, yet they refuse to listen to your answers." And I was like, man, I love that, because that's how I feel about at least half of the comments that I receive on my channels. Like, there's a lot of ask-holes. Ask-holes. A-S-K holes. Ask-holes. They're doing exactly what that sign said. They're asking me questions on a daily basis when I've already answered the question with multiple videos, and all they have to do is type less. Instead of typing a question in the comments section, why in the world would you not just go to YouTube search box and type in Nick Shell and ask your question and watch the video that I already graciously made for you? Here's what it reminds me of. So growing up in elementary school, the teacher would always want you to ask questions if you didn't understand. And you'd hear this more in like kindergarten through second grade. Now remember, class, there's no such thing as a dumb question. The only dumb question is the one that's not asked. There's no such thing as a stupid question. The only stupid question is the one that's not asked. So, I was trained to hear that in the late 80s as I'm in elementary school. But then the 90s happens, and now it's like, okay, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade. And now the teachers, they give you a little more mature version of it. And they say, there's no such thing as a stupid question unless I've continued to tell you this already. If we're going over this regularly, then you should already know this. Like, that was more of the mentality. So, that's what I'm saying here, is on my channel, and I keep up with the comments. A lot of my videos are based on comments. I would speculate at least 50% of the comments I receive are pointless and unnecessary. And the reason for it is I've already made that video. So I just keep telling people, hey, go watch the video I made called Nick Shell, Will I Go Bald Test, or watch any 5 of the ones that says, Will I Go Bald Quiz. I clearly tell you, and people continue to ask questions that are irrelevant. They keep talking about their dad's hair, their mother's, father's hair on the pillow, hair in the shower, receding temples, and even stuff like, they'll ask me if, like, okay, one side's receding quicker than the other, or they'll ask other stuff, but I'm like, look, dude, it comes down to the 5 things that I always talk about. If it's not part of that, then don't worry about it. And granted, it's funny too that people ask me all these weird medical questions. Like, Nick, I've got like ooze coming out of the back of my head, and I think my hair might be thinner. Dude, go to a doctor. I don't know. All I'm doing here is taking a simple question that everyone's asking. Am I going to go bald? And I'm answering it for you. So here's what it should be. It should be that I receive, from that 50% of those stupid comments that I receive, Nick, am I going to go bald? My dad's bald. Am I going to go bald? My mother's father's bald. My uncle's... Instead of saying all those stupid things, it should say, Nick, I watched your videos. I listened to your theory about the 5 ways to predict if you're going to go bald. And I'm going to address each point. And then I'm going to tell you the answer. Nick, I'm not going to ask you. I'm going to tell you. Nick. And then they'll go through the 5 things. They'll talk about their age now, which is the first thing that I would need to know if I was going to answer the question, which I won't. What is your age now? Next, after you looked at a photo of yourself at age 1, projecting your age of 35, which you compared yourself to in the first thing, how old are you now versus age 35? Because after age 35, you're less likely to lose much hair. Number 2, how did your photo look at age 1, which projects you at age 35? Next is, how do you have any hair loss now? Next, could you grow a full connected beard before the age of 18, which predicts you're more likely to go bald? And then number 5, do you have a decent amount of proven Native American or Asian DNA? Now, well, my great-grandmother was half Cherokee. No, she was not, dude. You didn't take a DNA test. That's just something that your family has been telling you to make you feel less guilty that the white man wiped out the Native Americans. That's all that is. Until you take a DNA test, it's not true. Stop feeding yourself lies for breakfast every morning. So, I mean, that's how it works. So, you look at all 5 of the things, and you do not single out one thing. Oh, well, I can grow a full connected beard. What about the other stuff, dude? Look at all 5 things. Well, this one's not true because I know. Dude, all 5, best of 5. Okay? Ask yourself those 5 questions and nothing else. I don't care about anything else. So what you should do is leave a comment and say, Nick, thank you for helping me out. I watched your video. Here's the 5 answers to the things you told me to care about. And here's the answer, Nick. I am going to go bald or I'm not going to go bald. That would be a comment that I respect. And I'm doing this thing now where when I have people leave me intelligent comments, like they're actually picking up what I'm throwing down, I'm actually saying, I respect you. Dude, that's my code of we're on the same level here. It's really simple. Stop asking me stupid questions that have nothing to do with this. It's so easy to know if you're going to go bald. Now, if you really want to advance in my class, because basically I'm your internet dad / professor, if you really want to get on my good side, then you will start acknowledging these things right here. Because ultimately, and I say it all the time, I do not care about your hair. I don't care if you're going to go bald. I don't care about my hair, and I don't care if I'm going to go bald. I care about helping you become a man, and you need to know these things. And there are Peter Pans that watch my channel. Those are men my age or 35 or older who are still worried about their hair, even though society obviously judges us on 10 other things. So ultimately, my goal as a YouTuber is to simply answer your question if you're gonna go bald, and the answer is yes or no, and then you tell me the answer. I'm not gonna assess it for you. I'll have people who will tell me just one of the 5 things, and again, they're not focusing on 5, and then they'll still ask me. Stop asking me, start telling me if you're gonna go bald. Okay, so part 1, I help you determine if you're gonna go bald or not. Part 2, after you accept whether you are gonna go bald or not, then you start accepting the actual truth out of those 10 things I put on the screen. Your comments are right here.